Day 29, Genesis chapter 48, 49, and 50. Many people are looking for fresh starts, clearer direction, and reassurance that their efforts will not be wasted. But the Bible often teaches us that the most powerful lessons about beginnings are found at the end. Aging bodies, final words, family tensions, quiet tears, and promises that will not be fulfilled for hundreds of years are what we encounter as whispers for the day as we complete the book of Genesis. Jacob is old, weak, and nearing death. Joseph brings his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, born not in Canaan, but in Egypt. They were raised in a foreign culture, surrounded by Egyptian power, language, and values. And then Jacob says something astonishing. Now then, your two sons born to you in Egypt, before I came to you here, will be reckoned as mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are mine. This was a legal, spiritual adoption. Jacob was saying, your environment will not erase your inheritance. This is a word for anyone who feels behind in life, disconnected from their roots, like they started in the wrong place. You may have grown up in Egypt, symbolically speaking. You may have learned survival before purpose. You may have adapted just to stay alive. But legacy is not cancelled by location. Your past does not disqualify your future, because God can reassign identity at any stage. What looks late can still be legitimate. Sometimes the greatest inheritance comes not from where you were born, but from who claims you. Next, we see how Joseph carefully positions his sons. Manasseh, the firstborn, is placed on Jacob's right hand, the hand of blessing. Ephraim, the younger, is placed on the left, but Jacob crosses his hands. Joseph protests. He thinks it's a mistake. But Jacob says, I know, my son. I know. God does not always follow the order that makes sense to us. In our world, age should come before youth, experience before passion, credentials before calling. But the kingdom of God often rearranges expectations. The crossed hands tell us, progress is not always linear. God's choice is not always predictable. Being overlooked does not mean being forgotten. You may feel like you were skipped. Someone else advanced faster. Your preparation didn't translate into promotion, but know that God may be crossing hands in your favor without asking for permission. Trust the blessing, even when it comes from an unexpected angle. When Jacob blesses his sons in Genesis 49, not every blessing sounds flattering. At first glance, this feels insulting. A donkey? Lying down? But this is actually a picture of quiet strength. A raw-boned donkey is sturdy, resilient, and built for long-term labor, not speed or show. Issachar represents people who carry weight without applause, serve faithfully without spotlight, do the work others don't want to do. In a culture obsessed with visibility, Issachar reminds us that consistency beats hype. Endurance outlasts excitement. Not every calling is glamorous, but every calling matters. God sees strength where others see slowness, and sometimes the people holding the world together are the ones quietly lying among the sheep pens. We later read where Jacob describes Benjamin like this. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder. This is intensity, drive, boldness. A wolf without direction becomes dangerous to others and to itself. Benjamin's blessing is not just about power. It's about timing. Morning for pursuit and evening for distribution. This teaches balance. Being driven is not enough. Being busy is not the same as being effective. The same strength that builds can also destroy, depending on how it's guided. The field and the cave in it were bought from the Hittites. Why does this matter? Because Jacob did not want his story to end in Egypt. Even in death, he was saying, this is not our final home. He honored the promise by insisting on a specific place, ground that was legally owned, remembered, and tied to God's covenant. Do you honor where we came from? Do you respect foundations? Not abandoning values just because life improved. Don't erase your roots. Don't despise small beginnings. Don't forget who helped you survive. Progress should deepen gratitude, not delete it. Joseph's made a final request. Then he dies in Egypt. He knows he will not see the promised land, yet he speaks with certainty. This is faith without evidence, hope without immediacy, belief without personal benefit. You may plant seeds you will not harvest. You may start things you will not finish. You may believe for outcomes you will not personally witness. But faith is not wasted just because it's delayed. Some victories are inherited. Some breakthroughs are generational. Some promises mature after you. Carry the bones anyway. When the time comes, may someone else testify that you believed enough to leave something worth carrying.